Hey everyone, it's a brand new year. That means a brand new plush collection. Now, before we begin with this year's plush collection, some of you may know that I'm doing this plush collection a little bit different this year. The reason being is because I usually review every single plush in my collection throughout every beginning of the year. However, this year I'm only showcasing the brand new plushies in my collection. I just feel like this method would be easier so everyone can figure out what is brand new to the collection instead of figuring out what is new, what is old. And also it's just easy for me as well, so I don't have to grab every single plush and show them all for like a few seconds and then move on to the next plush. But with that out of the way, let's begin this year's collection with Mega Man. This is an old plush. However, I accidentally forgot to include him in last year's plush collection because he was in another room and I just forgot about him. But here he is. So with that out of the way, let's actually begin with the plush collection with Five Nights at Freddy's. So for starters, we have the 10th anniversary Golden Freddy plush made by Funko. I got this plushie off of Funko's website, and here's a look at the tush tag. Next up, we have Withered Bonnie. This plush was made by X-Smart Global. Next up, for Five Nights at Freddy's 3, we have the Tie-Dye Springtrap plush. I got this on eBay. For Five Nights at Freddy's special delivery, we have Firework Freddy. He still has his side tags, and I had to get this plushie on Mercari because Walmart never stocked this plush in. For Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach, we have the daycare attendant, specifically in his son form. And we have Eclipse from Five Nights at Freddy's Ruined. And along with that, we also have the AR version of Eclipse. And lastly, for Five Nights at Freddy's, we have Clown Foxy from Funko's line of Balloon Circus plushies. Next up, for Bendy and the Ink Machine, we have the Jack-specific Bendy plush, Boris the Wolf, and Edgar. I do plan to make a full plush review on these three plushies and compare them with the Fat Mojo Bendy, Boris, and Edgar plush. But for now, here are the Jack-specific Bendy, Boris, and Edgar plushies. Next up, for Undertale, we have Metaton and a Dancing Flowey plush. Both were made by Fangamer. Next up, we have Raz from I Am 8-Bit. The arms are bendable. The legs are bendable. And at the back of him, he has a voice box. This is technically a re-release of the Raz plush because originally I Am 8-Bit did sell a Raz plush before, but it's been sold out for a few years now. But recently they re-released him. And so I pre-ordered this plush, I think at the beginning of March? I don't remember, but I got him around October. Next up, for Makeship, we have Little Miss Fortune. The 2.0 Frambo plush. Every 2.0 plushie has a second edition tag on the bottom. And I specifically got this plush during a Time Warp event. Time Warps on Makeship is essentially just a re-release of specific plushies. And she also comes with a Mr. Midnight. Next up from Makeship, we have Percy Poodle from the game Playtime with Percy. I was debating on whether or not to include Percy in the Five Nights at Freddy's section or in this category of like miscellaneous indie games because Playtime with Percy is technically its own IP now, but it started off as a FNAF fan game, so it's kinda in the middle, I'd say. But regardless, I am looking forward to playing Playtime with Percy on Steam whenever it comes out. Next up, we have Sifrine from In Stars in Time. The hat is removable with Velcro. We have Donna from the game Valhalla. She has a magnet in her arm right here so she can hold Jill's hand. Next up, we have Amori and Kel from the Omocat Store website. Next up, we have Bucky Beaver from Shipwreck 64, made by Makeship. Boxers from the Bunny Graveyard. Next up is Vince from Dead Plate. We have some video games that were published by Dread XP. For starters, we have the Makeship Lynetta plush. This is technically a second edition of the Lynetta plush, but it's not labeled as second edition because this plushie came from a glow-in-the-dark set. So Makeship released a campaign of glow-in-the-dark plushies in 2023, and during that set of plushies, they released all 3 of the original Sucker for Love plushies, but with a glow-in-the-dark design, like so. Besides Lynetta, we have Amanda the Adventurer. Her knife is removable via Velcro. And lastly, we have Wooly. There is a third Amanda the Adventurer plush, being the monster design of Amanda. However, I unfortunately missed out on that campaign. Next up for the Roblox game, Rainbow Friends, we have the Deluxe Blue plush. Now, there is a smaller blue plushie, but the reason I got the Deluxe plush is simply because I like how the eye right here is actually a plastic button, whereas the normal small blue plush is just a normal plush fabric for the eye. Next up, we have green. And the last of the Chapter 1 characters, we have orange. For Chapter 2, we have yellow. And lastly, we have cyan. And I do believe they are making a deluxe cyan plush and green plush. However, I'm not going to get those two since I have these smaller plushies already. And the only Rainbow Friend plush I am missing is the Scientist, which honestly I can live without. Next up, we have Filbo from Fangamer. Arms are bendable. Same goes with the legs. The catcher's net is removable with magnets and has a wire in the handle. Next up, we have Shroombo from Fangamer. Next up is Ebe. Next up, we have Mute, made by Makeship. Next up is the Power Washer from Power Wash Simulator. Next up, we have Jay from Marble Hornets, made by Makeship. The camera is removable via Velcro. And along with Jay, we have the Operator. This was also a glow-in-the-dark plush during the 2023 glow-in-the-dark event. Next up, we have Razzle from Hasman Hotel. I picked this plushie up at a Hot Topic. Next up is Bluey, made by Moose Toys. Can't even make this up. Found this plush at a Target sitting on a bag of dog food. From Jack Specific, we have Homer Simpson. The head can rotate. Next up from Gravity Falls, we have Ford, made by the Mystery Shack website. Mason Dipper Pines from Just Play. Mabel Pines from Just Play. Waddles. And lastly, Bill Cipher. I still have not gotten Stan, but I will once the Mystery Shack website opens back up. Next up is the Grunt from Amnesia and the Dark Descent, made by Makeship. Next up from U2's, we have Kinito Pet, one of my favorite indie horror games that came out in recent years. And this plush is giant for a U2's plush. I mostly blame these legs. But still, I am so happy I got this plushie. And continuing with U2's, we have the Dave the Diver plush. Here's a look at the side tag right here. Next up is Elena the Cat Pirate from Makeship. The bandana is removable with Velcro. Next up, we have the Super Fox plush. This is specifically the 2.0 release. You can see by the bottom of the plush right here. The Super Fox plush comes from Super Animal Royale. Here's a closer look at the weapon, and it's removable by Velcro. Next up is a custom crocheted Junimo plush from Stardew Valley. I got this little plush at a convention, and this was my first convention I ever went to. Next up is Roscoe from Hello Puppets. The neck is bendable with wires. Next up is Velocispider from a really cool mobile game. The head can rotate. The mouth can open. And the tail can rotate as well. Next up is Skelly from the game Hades. legs can bend, and he can talk. Yeah! Next up is Cat from Stray. The vest can be removed. The tail is bendable. And the cat plush comes with a tiny B12. Next up we have the Club Mochi Banjo-Kazooie plush. I got him for $7 at a thrift store, which unfortunately that thrift store no longer exists. The business shut down, and this was the last thing I ever bought from that store. It's a real shame. I used to go to this store a lot. And we have Mumbo Jumbo, made by Fangamer. He has magnets on both hands, and the cane can come off. The cane also has some wires to bend. We have Sene Toadette from the All-Star Collection. The All-Star Collection Winged Pikmin from Sene and Little Buddy. Next up is the Red Pyramid Thing, or Pyramid Head. Arms can rotate. Same goes with the legs. And his weapon is removable. Next up is Marks. This is made by Sene and Little Buddy. Really glad to finally have a Marks plush. I've been wanting to get him for a really long time. We also have one of my favorite Sonic villains, being Chaos from GE. We have not one Minecraft Witch plush, but two. I originally ordered one, however, the seller accidentally sent me a second one, and they just let me keep it, so that's really neat. Next up is a custom Gregory plush from Gregory's Horror Show. Next up is Togepi from Pokemon. This was made by Jazzwares, I believe. And along with Togepi, we also have Pichu. So these two are from a Pokemon set of sleeping Pokemon plushies. However, with this Pichu plush, I cut out 2 black pieces of felt and I put a little pin in them so that way he has actual eyes. And I remember seeing this plush every single day at Walmart, like at the beginning of January, and I finally decided to buy him in December. So he was just been sitting on the shelf for a really long time. And lastly for Pokemon, we have the Pokemon Trainer, specifically Red. He is new with Tag, and I am so glad to finally get a Red plush for my collection. Next up, we have my custom Lucas plush from Mother 3. I really want to get the official Earthbound and Mother 3 plushies from the store website, but for now, here is my custom Lucas. Next up is Lady Palutena from Kid Icarus. And we have Pit 2, or Dark Pit, from Kid Icarus Uprising. We have Byleth from Fire Emblem Three Houses. I would love to get some of the other characters from this set, but unfortunately, most of them are sold out. And we have Sephiroth from Final Fantasy VII. Specifically, this plush is from the remake. We have the Snowcat plush from Adopt Me. Next up, we have Kentaro from Roblox Mimic. I am probably saying that name incorrectly, so if you know the proper pronunciation, please let me know. We have the Dancing Banana from the famous meme Peanut Butter Jelly Time. However, this plush is specifically for Shovelware Brain Game. He has Velcro on all arms and legs, and his bow tie is Velcro as well, including his microphone. Next up is Ash from Concrete Genie. Arms swivel. Paintbrush, arms, and legs have wires in them to bend and pose. Here's a closer look at the duffel bag. Next up is Clara from A Short Hike, made by Fangamer. The hat is removable. Next up is Kubella, the Blood Witch from Moon Hunters. She is one of many characters you can play as in the game, and she is one of my favorites. Her staff is removable, and it also has wires within it. The arms can swivel and bend. Legs can bend. The hat can come off. But yeah, here she is. Go check out Moon Hunters. It is a really fun game. I highly recommend it. Next up is Rambly Raccoon from Indigo Park. The plushie specifically was made by Makeship. However, his best friend, Molly McCall, was made by U2s. Here is a little size comparison. And a fun little detail about my plush is it's a factory error. The wings right here is incorrect. The feathers should be pointing to the back of the plush. But hey, at least she's not missing her head. And so with that out of the way, that is my entire plush collection of 2025. I will include any missing plushies at the end of the video that arrived late, like an example being Molly McCall. She actually arrived on December 26th as I was recording this video, and I included her last. And I am expecting a few more packages to come in the mail, but I have no idea when they're coming in. But for now, this is my entire plush collection. I hope everyone has a wonderful New Year's, and thank you so much for watching. And as I was editing this video, I received a Makeship package. We have Sebastian from the Roblox horror game Pressure. Overall, a really great high quality plush. Only complaint I have is I wish this plush had plastic beans in the bottom so he can sit properly, because he sometimes falls over. And Makeship used to put little plastic beans in the bottoms of plushies before. Like Lucky the Rabbit has some plastic beans in the bottom, so that way he can properly sit up. But I mean, overall, this is a really good high quality product. Also, something I've noticed with the Bucky Beaver plush from Makeship is that Makeship plushies are starting to do something unique with the tags. Like, they have 2 push tags now. I'm not sure why that's the case. And usually the Makeship bags have a little sticker right here. However, they started to put a little tag right here. Here's a look at the back of the tag. It's just something interesting that I've noticed. But with that out of the way, this is supposedly the last plush I'm expecting to get in the mail. However, if there's any other plushies I'm expecting late, then I will definitely include them at the end of this video. But for now, this is it.